Hello and welcome to another edition of Mailbag. What is Mailbag? Well, Mailbag is a feature of the channel where you guys leave lots of comments on the channel and I attempt to answer those comments, or if I can't answer those comments, I throw it out to you guys who have more knowledge on some of this stuff than I do. So let's get into the first mailbag of this session. Remember, like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Go over to Instagram and follow me there. Go over to Facebook, follow me there. That's where the normal notices are. And consider becoming a Patreon. I'm going to pronounce your name wrong. But the next comment or question comes from Domingo Leja. I think that's how it's pronounced. And this is in response to the Death of the Kronos video I did in December 2021. And Domingo writes, still deciding between a Kurzweil 2700 or a Korg Arranger, but I'm more of a percussionist and don't have for deep diving into manuals. So which station is simple and intuitive? Now, I'd love to be unbiased, but I am biased towards the Korg instrument, as I don't have any experience of Kurzweil to be able to give you a fair comparison. Now, what I would say is that people who use Kurzweil love Kurzweil. Okay, that is very, very obvious from user groups, that people who have bought into the 2600, the PA, was it the PA4 or PA5, and the 2700, which is the sort of latest and greatest, absolutely love the Kurzweil platform. What they've also said is it is a bit of a pig to learn, and the Korg is a bit of a pig to learn. But once you work out how to navigate your way around the keyboard, then it becomes actually fairly intuitive. And I would say that's probably the same of the Korg platform as well. Once you work out how to navigate your way around it, it becomes relatively easy. And what Korg, to their, again, and Kurzweil have done the same thing, is they kind of kept the same concepts. In fact, actually, I was reading somewhere that the core code that runs the Kurzweil hasn't changed in about 15 years. So that gives you an idea of, the fact that, once you understand it, you understand it. And I think probably the thing is, you need to understand how you want to work with the platform to work out whether the platform is for you. I think that I'm going to put this out to the community, and I'm going to say that anyone out in the community got sort of advice for Domingo, please drop comments and I'll post them when they come through. But what I would say is there is a market here, I think, for renting keyboards on short-term basis to people who are prospecting to use them. I think the problem is, at the moment, the whole sort of kind of rental scene is too damn expensive. Whereas if you think about a workstation, you're going to pay £3,000 for a workstation. If you're trying to rent that to somebody for 400 quid a week, after so many weeks they're going to have bought the platform anyway, so it doesn't make an awful lot of sense. So I think the sort of the value chain around the rental point is not working. But that's kind of my thoughts on this one anyway. Next comment or question comes from Metallus. I think I spelled that correctly, pronounced that right. And this was in response to waiting for the Kronos successor. Kronos, where do you go from this? A mailbag I did in October 2022. And Metallus writes, Kronos still doesn't have a replacement for, sorry, I think that's meant to be Korg, still doesn't have a replacement for Kronos in Q1 of 2022. Fantom 8 isn't even close to the Kronos and cannot do it either. So we're in this stupid place where there's nothing to buy if I was aiming for Kronos and didn't buy one before it was discontinued. The crisis in the electronic components and chips slow down, and it makes the probability impossible to introduce anything new to replace it. Most manufacturers across different markets and segments are discontinuing their product lineups or cutting down on features very heavily. So basically, as a recap, we are screwed until this crap is resolved in the next 5 to 10 years. Now, whether this is a Korg user view, I am not sure. But Fantom has a number of really excellent features. I have to say that. I do think Fantom has taken the march in certain areas. So many people have commented on this on the channel and stated that it isn't a Kronos. It hasn't taken over the crown of King of Workstations yet, but it does have some really good features. In fact, Don DeVore wrote on the Mailbag, I don't know whether it's included in this section. In fact, actually, I think it might be the next comment on this list. But he wrote that, you know, basically there are pluses with the Fantom and there were lots of pluses with the Kronos. And his best position at the moment is he's using both, which I think is quite actually expensive, but actually probably a good position to be in if you can afford it. The one other thing I find very interesting is the Yamaha community staying very quiet in comparing Montage to Kronos. Far more Roland bashing, for want of a better term. Yeah, everyone seems to want to bash Roland, but the other side of it is really interesting. Now, I've got to be honest and say I'm definitely thinking about buying a 61-note Kronos 2 at some point this year as a backup for my 88. But as many have mentioned to me, the cost of the Kronos in the second-hand market now, and this is really bizarre, but it is really reality, it's gone up because people are hanging on to them rather than chopping them in for a Nautilus. And very few people are transitioning from or transitioning up to Nautilus because of this, or another platform. And just to sort of reinforce this, I was looking at an Oasis listing the other day. Now Oasis is went down to, you know, pretty much bugger all at one point, but now they're back up to over, you know, the one I was looking at this morning was $3,000. You know, that is really starting to appreciate in value. Having said that, the Oasis is a damn good keyboard, so, you know, bottom line.